Hi everyone, and welcome to another video of Century Countess. In today's video we begin our journey in doing a Sleeping Beauty Princess Aurora costume, but make it 18th century gentleman suit. And in today's video we are going to make the jabot and the cuff. What is the jabot and the cuffs? Well, that's easy. The jabot, and forgive my mispronunciation if I'm not pronouncing it right, I apologize, is the lovely frilly lace collar that the men from the 18th century wore with their suits. Basically the first edition of the bow tie, you could say, or tie. But it was called the jabot, and it was lovely, it was frilly, it was lacy, it was flouncy, it was gorgeous. And then it always had like matching cuffs that they would attach that would kind of stick out from the cuffs of their coat. So that's what we're going to make today. So without further ado, let's get started, shall we? So for our cuffs and jabots, here are the pattern pieces. I have drawn them up. For the body of the jabot, it is about 24 inches long, 12 inches wide. And these right here, these aren't like cut pieces. These are just basically where you're going to take an iron and fold the pieces when you fold them. And I'll show you that when we get to that. For the neck piece, it's about 8 inches wide before fold. And then same thing with the cuff pieces. They're about nearly 5 inches wide. And then when I folded them in half, they were about 2.5 after fold. And the length mainly depends on how your measurements of your neck and your wrists. So I didn't put any measurements for the neck or the wrist. I just put the measurements for the width and length. And then over here is just the lace, which was about 2 yards, and then 3 to 3/4 long. So that's about it. Now on to the preparations. So this is the jabot panel, rectangular panel piece. These pieces right here, these are not wrinkles, these are actually folds. I actually folded this to see how it looks. Then I just unfolded it. So this is probably what you're going to get when you unfold it. So the first thing you want to do is you want to fold it, but not all the way. There we go, to where it's about there. So you got that much length, and then a full length. Then you want to take it again, fold it, and there you got 3 panels. So it's a 3-panel jabot. Don't worry about this part, this little fold here, that's going to go away when we put on the lace. And then as soon as we get the lace and everything, we're going to gather it up here, and I'll show you that when we get to that step. So here's the collar piece. The collar piece has already been folded and then pinned, along with the cuffs, basically same thing, folded as evenly as possible and then pinned. What we're going to do is we're going to hand sew it, well, not hand sew it all, we're going to run it through the machine. So on this half, and then what we're going to do next is either turn it inside out, so it's like the things on the raw edges are on the inside, or since we're going to be covering it up with lace, hide it with the lace and no one will know. No one's not going to know, except if they see this video. But unless you're going to like lift up the cuff or lift up the collar, no one will know. And then there will be some bits that are hiding around the neck, but I'll show you a pretty way on how to hide that. That way you don't have to fold it inside out to get a non-raw edge. It's a cheat, a little cheat that I'll show you, but I'll show you when we get to that. So this is her lace. As I mentioned, it's about 3 to 3/4 long. Very pretty. And this is the first layer that's going to go on the very top. And I put, just for me, for reference, so I don't put the wrong tier on the wrong spot, I put 1 pin, first layer, 2 pins for the second, and this took 2 pieces. And then, believe it or not, here's the third layer, and it just took one whole piece because it goes straight up to the next fold, so that's easy enough. And then for the regular folds of the cuffs, I have them here, and they're also with one pin, but I have them put in an opposite area, separated from the Jabot area, just for my sake, so I don't mess up. And then, like I said, I've pinned them in cold, so I know one pin's for one part of the Jabot, and then the one pin that has two pieces is mainly for the cuffs. So, and like I said, I separated them so they don't get mixed up with each other. So I think what we'll do is we'll do the easy part first, which is constructing the cuffs. And then I'm going to look in my craft drawer to see if I have hooks and eyes. That's how we're going to attach them, is with hooks and eyes. And then I'll show you the next steps. So going back to the neck part, this is what I was talking about. You just basically fold it inwards and try to kind of make it as straight as possible. Then while the pieces are folded inwards, you iron it so they're stitched, basically ironed down. Then for extra security, pin it, and then what we're going to do is we're going to run it through the machine. That way it is stitched in place. So that's what we're going to do right now, and we're also going to do the cuffs. Now the cuffs are very different because the lace is going to hide it, so we don't have to do anything too drastic with the cuffs, but since this is going to be a little bit more exposed, we are doing this fancy method here. So I'm going to show you some sewing machine footage, and we'll continue from there. Speaking. Now here is one of the cuffs. I've pinned the lace to the end where the folded bit was, where you sewed it together. And now there are some gaps here. This is just, for extra room. That's going to be taken in when we put the closures. So it will look something more like that. And then when we slip it on, it will have an opening in the front. We're not closing it fully, because if we close it fully, it will be too tight. So just closing it right here, and then just letting this open on the bottom. No one will notice unless, raise your hand up, but it's not going to be that off the wall. It'll just be enough to have that nice, beautiful flowy out, and then and not so snug. If you kind of understand what I mean. I don't know if you understand, but I'll show you what I mean when I do a fitting. So we're gonna sew this down, and then I will kind of pin it and kind of give you an idea of what we're gonna do. Well, actually, what it's gonna look like when it has its closures and it's ready for fitting. So here we go.
Hello, darlings. This is an update. This is Mr. Fancy Man coming in for the Countess for a little bit, modeling off this lovely new cuff. And here it is. This is what it's supposed to look like. There is a opening, just for the cuff, for flowy, while the rest will be pinned down with closures. It's not even right now, but this is just for presentation, for fitting presentation. But yeah, it will look something like this. Fancy!
So I did this part off camera. What I did was I already stitched on the pleats of the Jabot. You just do it layer by layer. Lift up a fold to avoid stitching, and then just sew a panel at a time till you get to the very top and there's nothing to cover up. So for this raw edge, I'll go back to that in a minute. So after that, you just add pleats, to kind of give it into a type of kind of a rounded triangular shape, I guess you could say. That is the traditional Jabot, which is kind of like a rounded triangle, but without the point. Then what I did was I folded, to find the center so it's properly aligned, I folded the neck strap and then kind of used my thumb to kind of do a hand warm iron, well actually a finger flat iron crease, so I had a line. And then I just folded the pleated pinned piece down to find the center, and then I just match the center to center so we have a perfect piece. Now for this, to avoid like this extra tool, like the excess, I had this trim and I've had it for years, like literally years, so I thought I'd go ahead and put that down. Now it doesn't have to cover the entire strap. I'm sorry, my finger was in the way. Anyway, it doesn't have to cover the entire strap because, I mean, you're going to be wearing a wig, you're going to be wearing a wig or whatever you prefer, and it's not going to show in the back. And plus, sometimes, no, it's not going to look in the back, literally. No one's not going to notice. It's going to be hidden, so nothing to worry about, in all honesty. And if you're worried about that, you can always add like a pretty little piece here, piece there, like a ribbon or a little flower. That way you have a stopping point, just in case it does bother you. So yeah, I'm going to basically hand sew this all off camera, and then we'll show you the results. And here it is in its full glory, the Jabot and the cuffs. I pinned them to my form. Unfortunately, their closures haven't been arrived in the mail yet, and I thought I had some, but I didn't, unfortunately. So this is as far as I got, so I pinned it to my form so you guys can get a good view of it. It's complete, they just need closures, so hopefully soon I can do that. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I am sorry that I could not do a reveal with our beloved Mr. Fancy Man wearing it with his lovely homemade 18th century shirt, but it will just have to be delayed just a little bit longer, so stay tuned. I probably won't be making a video next week, but the following week I'll do something. And stay tuned, because I think the next thing we're going to try to do will either be the vest or the pants of the Sleeping Beauty 18th century gentleman suit. So please like, please subscribe, and until next time, bye-bye.